Welcome to the Defining Numbers delivered by FedEx. I'm Dan Thomas, joining the ESPN FC studio by Craig Burley and Shaka Hislop. Shaka, who would have thought it? A goalkeeper, man of the match in the Champions League.
It's about time.
Thibaut Courtois, of course, setting a record for the number of saves in a Champions League final. He was exceptional for Real Madrid against Liverpool. How good was he, Shaka?
I think it's the best performance I've seen at that level for some time, and needed. And as much as we've praised Thibaut Courtois for his performances all season long for Real Madrid, it was needed on the biggest stage at the biggest moment for Real. And I think he delivered in a way that I can't remember too many doing.
Anyone who's seen Real Madrid this season, this wouldn't be a particular surprise, but as Shaka says, to do it at that level, in that intense environment.
I go back to the point we were talking about yesterday, is that we did, Julian and I and you did a previous segment for FedEx, and it was who's the best goalkeeper, Alisson and Courtois. Who would you have at the moment? And I think Alisson's brilliant, but we both said Courtois. Would you have said that before yesterday's final?
I was asked that this week, and I had a long, hard think about it, and thought I'm leaning Alisson just. I think where now that has completely turned is this performance on the big stage. The one thing that about Alisson is he has been there and done it. He has won every title there is in world football outside of a World Cup, from the Copa America through all the domestic cups and, of course, the League and the Champions League. Courtois' progress has been different. Got to a Champions League final with Atletico Madrid, came into Real on the back of them winning 3 straight. Struggled in the early days, and even though you saw how good he was, you just wanted to see this kind of performance on this kind of stage. Through no fault of his own, we've not seen Belgium do anything similar. All of a sudden, on club football's biggest night, Thibaut Courtois continues to make this game look so very easy.
You moaned a lot when Courtois came in. Keylor Navas, of course, then was eventually sidelined and sold. Does this justify that decision?
It justifies the decision now. I don't think in the early years you could have. But you say you could dismiss that as being part of the process, as Courtois having to come in and get the hard knocks and learn. And you'd be absolutely right in that too. But at the time, I thought displacing a goalkeeper who'd just won 3 Champions Leagues, and you can paint it however you like about Ronaldo and Benzema, he fit. Keylor Navas fit who Real Madrid were then. Now all of a sudden, I think Thibaut Courtois fits who Real Madrid have shown themselves to be now. What
was the best save? The one onto the post from Mane?
Yeah, the one onto the post was really impressive. The one from Mo Salah for me, though, especially the time of the game, I think it was about the 75th minute, I thought that was in. I'll be honest. I thought that was in, and to see it skirt wide had me up on my feet.
Of course, meanwhile, at the other end, you needed someone to score the goal, and it proved to be Vinicius Jr, who has had quite the breakout season, of course, heavily criticised in some quarters over the last couple of campaigns for not living up to his reputation. He became, the 5th youngest goal scorer in the history of the Champions League finals. Took his goal well, wasn't sensational, it's not going to be in any top goals, but it doesn't matter, Craig, because it wins the Champions League.
Exactly, and listen, when we talked about matchups, we talked about Luis Diaz and Carvajal, then we looked at Alexander-Arnold and Vinicius Jr. And, Alexander-Arnold played him pretty well for most of the game, but switched off for a split second. Right. And he didn't. And he just anticipated that ball at the back post. Alexander-Arnold was square, didn't even... Well, he must have known he was behind him, but he never looked. And he ghosted round and he got himself the winning goal. You mentioned breakout season. He's had moments at Real Madrid, but he's never had this prolonged period. Yeah, he's had some average games this year, but he's had a lot of exciting games where him and Benzema have linked up and they've scored some fantastic goals. And what a moment for him. I think it tops off for him, which has clearly been his best season in his career so far.
And the word there is exciting, which you now associate more and more with Vinicius Jr.
Yeah, and well, not just exciting, he's always been exciting, but end product is the one thing that's been lacking from Vinicius Jr. up until this season. You've seen the flashes of brilliance, you know what he could do on the ball. When he's having a good day, he unplayable coming into this season. But those good days were too far and few between for a player playing for Real Madrid. And then all of a sudden this season, when we were questioning whether Ancelotti would use him, and as discussed, Bale and Hazard, and would there be options, when it was needed, because of the struggles of Bale and Hazard, Vinicius Jr. all of a sudden became the player that the player with the consistency that you'd associate with Real Madrid. And when he's at his best and he is playing that way with some consistency, he deserves all the credit that he'll be getting this week.
Meanwhile, Carlo Ancelotti will be getting credit for many years to come for becoming the manager with the most European Cup titles in the history of the competition. That takes him to 4 now, superseding Zinedine Zidane, of course they did at Madrid as well, Bob Paisley at Liverpool. Craig, he does it in such a quiet, under-the-radar demeanour.
But it's amazing that it's such a big club he's at. You talk about credit in the bank with what he's achieved this season and beyond. I mean, Barcelona were in serious disarray at the start of the season. Real Madrid, it seemed, were just in a little bit of disarray, but there was certainly some. To turn it around in the way he has been amazing. But such is the nature of the club that he's at. If they have a bad 6 months next year, they'll sack him. Yeah. It's like, thanks very much. But we're struggling now, so he knows it's here and now and enjoy it, but they're going to have to sign players that didn't get Mbappe. So who are they going to bring in? How are they going to keep going? Because if you don't keep going at this club, you're out. But it's an amazing, I think, use of man management rather than just out and out coaching.
Yes.
You know, man management. Vinicius, Benzema, Carvajal. We talked about it yesterday. Marcelo doesn't play, but he's on the bench. Looks as if he wants to come on still, and he's still cheering and part of the group. And that's not just through luck, that's Ancelotti managing the dressing room.
He seems to have this extraordinary ability, extraordinary humility maybe, to be able to just say to the players, okay, you know, I trust you.
He understands what's needed at the time. And I think while we talk about great managers in today's game and through the history of this game, the one thing about Ancelotti is he seemed to gotten the decisions and what he says absolutely right. And think through Real Madrid during the course of this season. Early on, they was getting criticism because they were conceding too many, and he came out and took responsibility for that and said, I'm going to change the system and whatnot. When the team's playing well, it's all about the players. When the team is playing badly, it's all about Ancelotti, and he puts that on himself. I can only think of 1 or 2 weeks during this season, early part of the season, where he was critical of how the team was playing and how he needed to change things. And he did. Yeah. And it speaks to man management, as Craig was alluding to. Let's remember, after 90 minutes against PSG, Florentino Perez, with the speculation was Pochettino was coming in to take over. Look at how he handled that. And then again against Chelsea and Manchester City. Look at how he handled this week in the wake of the Mbappe news. He just does such a good job of making sure the team and the club are always central.
Gentlemen, as always, thank you very much. Those are the defining numbers delivered by FedEx.